Team Gravity presents Fight Night.
Y'all ready for this?
Welcome guys, we are here at Team Gravity's Fight Night and we are going to see some awesome games today. Joining me is Jack Attack and I am Pig. How are you guys going? How are you going? Sorry,
man.
Jack Attack.
Well, you know, we could also be talking to Master Dolk, who's running production tonight, so shout out for him. He is the voice inside of our heads. We're not crazy humans, it's just the way the audio works. I'm awesome, and not as like a I'm great, full of myself, but I'm feeling great right now, as I thought initially, oh, it's gonna be a Heart of the Swarm thing. I was like, oh, it's Legacy of the Four, yes! So we're gonna have Bly and Neeb, and we were talking about this before. Neeb's been one of those players, been around forever. Like, I was hanging out with him on StarCraft 2 strategy like back in 2012, and he was getting his start. And Bly also been around forever. A lot more notable results for Bly, though.
Yeah, I mean, Bly's been around for so long, right? Bly on fire, hashtag. It's like, everyone knows Bly. And yeah, you go back to around that same time, I guess, where Neeb was first starting out and kind of trying to edge into the pro scene. And Bly was this guy who was getting top 8 in a lot of really big tournaments. Think like IEM Gamescom, a few other tournaments. He was always this guy who played a very specific style though. Bly is someone everyone recognizes and everyone remembers because he, in Wings of Liberty, when everyone was doing the exact same thing, everyone was like, this is how you play the game, and maybe you mix in this timing or that timing, and like those are your 3 options. Bly was the guy who was going 2-base mutas into Hydralisks against Protoss, you know, when everyone was like, no, you've got to take a third hatchery at 4 minutes. And even nowadays, he still plays the same creative styles. When we saw Dash and Terminal first come out in the map pool, he was the guy building spines on the high ground above the gold base when the Terran would float their command center down there. He's the crazy guy you'll see who really loves the beta. So Bly's always someone who's a bit kind of exciting to watch, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, and in general, it is the beta. Things are always in flux. All kinds of crazy stuff is going on in general, so we don't really know. At any point in time, a new player can come with a new strategy and be like, hey, this is a new thing. Nobody's figured it out yet. And we'll be like, oh my god, nobody even knows how to deal with that yet. Good job, you just won the tournament. Congratulations. But we are getting started. The first map is going to be TERRAFORM.
And this is going to be a really good matchup here. I'm not too sure exactly how Neeb plays, but going into TERRAFORM is going to be good. This is like your most standard, I think, map at the moment. It's the map we see probably the most of now that Coda's been kind of knocked out of the map pool. And it should be a good map to see these two styles clash.
Yep, absolutely. The swirling, beautiful area of death that is TERRAFORM. Very nice situation for all of the beginnings of the maps. No randomness in the 4-player spawns.
Alright, and spawning up here in the top left-hand side of TERRAFORM, we are going to have our Protoss representative playing for the Protoss race. It is Neeb. Oh. And we're here. It is Neeb. Just a little slight production issue there, but it's all good now. And he's got his work cut out for him. Who's he going up against in the other side of things?
Oh, on the other side of the map, in specifically the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, we have the red Zerg. It's Acer's Bly.
Bly. The clash of two styles. Yeah, you know, interestingly enough, it's funny because I was just trying to add Neeb's account as onto my friends list so I can like set a friend note and be like, this is Neeb's barcode, so I can know when I'm playing him in future. But he's someone who, during the point where carriers were really strong, loved to just turtle up and go for carriers. He was really good at it. He did have I believe it was the finals of a tournament or a show match against Solar, where he was putting up a really good fight, actually, doing that. So since the nerf, I assume he's had to change up his style a lot, but something that he stays true to, he did it in WCS and the round of 32 as well, is he loves to try and really defend and macro up to that stage. And he's exceptionally good at finding timings to kind of get ahead in earlier upgrades, squeeze some things in here and there. And it's always interesting to see that style go up against someone like Bly, who's like, well, I'm never going to go past 45 drones. Like, I'm going to try and kill you. I'm going to throw drops. I'm going to attack you from every side. So I really wonder, like, how Neeb's going to try and withstand that.
Yeah, well, going to a pretty quick 3 hatcheries. It is the funny thing that once you get into Legacy of the Void economy and the way that it works, the greediest build you can do, the fastest 3-base saturation you can do, is not to hatch before pool. It's actually hatch, pool, hatch is going to get you even a faster, greedier situation. So it's this funny little weird thing where that build has sort of gone away, or if it hasn't, it will very soon as people figure out the math behind the situation. And true to his reputation, we've got some links coming across the map from Bly already. Adept getting ready to greet the Lings. A little bit too far ahead.
Yeah, and this is going to slow the Adept down. It's going to stop him from pressuring, but the Adept can pick away at these Zerglings. It can kind of micro against a small number of Zerglings like this very well. So Neeb already picking off 2 of these Zerglings very nicely. Third one goes down, and he's got his Shade going to pressure across the map, so this is working out really nicely, and he has a Stalker out to stop those Zerglings running in. So very good defense by Neeb, but these Zerglings, they want to try and scout the Stargate going down in the main base. I think they're going to dive past.
They're going to try it. Should get the block here. Yep, the Stalker does hold position in time, and that Stargate is too far off. In the meantime, we do have the Adept going out and doing its thing. Already 3 kills on it, onto the 4th kill as well. Moving on, and they are just absolutely brutal. Not so crazy as they once were. Going to go ahead and teleport into the main, being nice and mobile. Ooh, killing it right before it turns into this 4-caller there, staying alive. And oh my god, is it going to escape? Oh, it's just going to run into its death. I think it teleports to its death. Yes, it does. Fantastic. 4 worker kills. Not too bad. Tried to get out there, but it turns out they are not immortal after all. You can kill Adepts. They are killable.
Not too shabby for a start there for Neeb. Grabbing a couple of drone kills, deflecting the Zergling harass, and keep in mind that Oracle hasn't been scouted. The Overlord's coming in now, but it's only going to spot this as the Oracle spawns, so Bly is going to need to drop Spore Crawlers instantly to be ready for this. Oh, I think the Oracle just got out in time, so even though Bly sees this, he's dropping Spores now, but that Oracle's already on the way, and he's going to get there before they're finished.
Yep, we already have a preliminary Spore in the natural. But it's not the natural where the Oracle is headed. The Oracle is headed directly to the main. It looks like this Spore is just barely going to get up in time. Wow, man, the timing of that, absolutely nuts. Wow, absolutely. Well done,
Very
Bly.
nice deflection. Yeah, the Oracle, luckily, Neeb doesn't take damage on it, so he can get value with status traps later on, but you really want to get some damage done with that first wave. So that after a slightly shaky start, I think Bly's stabilizing quite well off that. Keep in mind, though, we've seen Neeb get the second Oracle. These guys can dart in, grab the drones on gas very quickly, and get out of there. So they're going to keep on aiming to get value over the next few minutes over and over again.
Yep, and he'll just be running in here, all about finding those little gaps where we can just pick off a worker really quick and get away. And he is finding them here and there.
Oh, finding the drones popping out of the eggs. Oh, big pickup. 6 drone kills. Only takes a little bit of hull damage. That's really nice so far. Very good start to this game for Neeb. Oh, the Queen getting a few hits down, but Neeb's now got the 3rd base up, and Neeb being Neeb, he's been chrono boosting probes the entire time. His 3rd base has already got 12 workers on it. Like, it finishes and it's saturated instantly. He's got his Forge adding upgrades, and he's going for that Robo and Twilight. So it does look like now, off the back of these 2 Oracles, a single Void Ray to clean up Overlords, Neeb is going to be heading towards that more standard, most likely Blink Stalker and Disruptor composition seems to be the go-to in PvZ right now because it's just so generically good and it works against just about everything.
Yep, double Evolution Chamber coming down for Bly, so moving to invest in that late game, getting the 4th base up as well. The economies, though, I mean, very strangely enough, are in the favor of the Protoss player in the world of gas. and at least very, very close in the world of minerals. So he's been able to keep Bly on his side of the map with these 2 oracles pretty much this whole time.
Yeah, Bly's very low in supply, but he is heading towards that lurker tech now, which is really something which Protoss players fear because it is so powerful. And of course, we have seen from Neeb that he delayed his robo a lot, but to catch up in that regard, he's actually got a second robotics facility down. So he's going to be heading for double disruptor production most likely, and that's going to be so good against lurkers. The lurkers, I don't think they're going to have a timing to get across there. Luckily, we see the infestation pit out for Bly, but I think he's kind of got a rush to a bit later in the game right now. Neeb seems to just be really far ahead on that mid-game tech.
Yeah, absolutely. And +2 and Blink coming on as well. So he'll have that nice, strong Blink Stalker backbone with that critical upgrade once he gets into the +2 against the enemy forces of the Zerg coming across. +1/+1. A little bit on the later side, but since he's upgrading 2 at a time, he'll be in a good spot. And we also already have the Hive on the way.
This is really interesting. I want to take a moment to kind of nerd out and study the economy of Bly here and say he's actually stopped at 70 drones, not the highest worker count. And we are going to see his minerals run out in his main soon. He's going to transfer those, but it looks like he just has no plans to add any more economy right now. And that's very interesting. He's not going crazy high, so he's going to be focused all on efficiency this game.
Yep, and we do have potential for a bit of engagement here. If he retreats, he's going to leave these 4 poor Hydras to die. They're just sitting there and staring at their enemy, waiting to explode into tiny synapse fragments, and there they go. They managed to take down a unit, though. A sentry. Very well done. Maybe a little bit sloppy on Neeb's side. I mean, those sentries didn't need to be there. A little bit.
Yeah, I don't know if that was focus fire or like just fortune, right? Because that's really lucky. That's really nicely done by Bly.
And he's continuing to keep an eye on his opponent with the hallucinated Phoenix and has a good feel for this Roach Hydra Lurker composition. Lurkers morphing in now.
Ultralisk cabins on the way as well. Those lurkers, plus the ultras, can make a really beefy one. Looks like we're going to see a bit of engagement in the middle, but oh, with those disruptors, Bly has to be so careful. His army will get massacred in a committed engagement against this, but it looks like he wants to press the issue. He wants to try and snipe off those disruptors, and baiting out the shots is actually so good here. Oh my god, he's actually going to get one, but oh, good force fields and sick disruptor shots from Neeb. Does shut down a couple of those roaches, does keep that disruptor alive. Nice bit of pressure from Bly though, even though he's got the smaller force. That's opened up the opportunity for his Lings to run in, gonna try and cancel this base. Looks like Neeb's gonna be on top of it, but at the same time, Neeb's Adepts running into the third base, getting 12 worker kills. This is some really nice play by Neeb, controlling the pace of the game, but he's putting the pressure back on Bly. And Bly, we said he wasn't on the highest economy. Now, after losing those drones, he's only on 55 workers, and he's dumping all his money into those tech units that he needs so badly, those Vipers, those Ultras. But, I mean, look at the supply.
I was just going to say, the supplies are absolutely insane right now. 170, 138. You can really see this low drone count style of Bly beginning to hurt him as we finally get into the stage where it's caught up with him. And like you said, like we really have this total reverse where Neeb has been playing super greedy, heavy into the economy, heavy into the late game, and it's paid off for him here.
Yeah, Zergling Runby going to be moving around the north. Bly's going to be looking for those mobile edges where he can get them. He's got 1-1 on these Zerglings, plus 2 melee on the way, but 2 cannons and that Adept block just shutting down that Zergling harass. And meanwhile, Neeb wants to push in. The Disruptor shot's going.
Oh my god!
So many Disruptor shots, but they're all on cooldown now. And Bly may have an opportunity to force a fight.
He's chasing him down. He's running out of the creep, though. The cooldown is very significant. We still got about a quarter of that cooldown left. Nice blinding clouds up in the front, but he's just going to be able to pull back. Grabs a couple of the disruptors there and takes them out in short order. And he's continuing to position and posture here in the bottom side of the map. No Ling run-bys were able to get by. We do have that Hero Adept hanging out, blocking that area.
Oh, Neeb knows his game though. Not only cleaning up the Zergling harass, but the Warp Prism going into the main. He's warping in these charge lots now. They've got +2 attack, and this is what he can do. He knows he's got a superior economy position right now. He knows that Bly's kind of focusing on this one little mini Zerg death ball, and so he's going to use that mobility with that Warp Prism harass, killing a bunch of drones here, pulling him apart. And as he keeps doing this, his main army is going to be able to posture, and he's going to be able to push on one side with the main army, harass on the other with the Warp Prism. With no Mutalisks out to shut this down, Bly is really going to struggle to have his units in the correct position at the right time.
Yep, and really keeping Bly in the dark here. Cleaning up the creep, the Overlord spread isn't looking that good either. Just very difficult for Bly to get a good read on what's going on.
Oh, Bly's going to look for some ducks. Not quite able to find them just now. He's almost on pure Ultralisk right now. He's adding a lot of Lurkers with it. So this is actually a very good ground killing army. He looks like he's going to do something very smart as well. Put 3 Lurkers in the main base is Bly. So he's going to say, look, I know this Warp Prism is going to be a problem. I'm going to defend it with that. But meanwhile, he has to defend his gold base. So the north side of the map. Oh, there's still a lot of disruptors out right now. We've got 8 of them on the map, or is that 6 actually? 6 disruptors there, but the immortal count is what's really scary right now for Bly. As those immortals get higher and higher, he's just not going to be able to engage into that unless he has the perfect blinding clouds. And every second that goes by, Neeb's army is getting more and more valuable.
Oh, and all these Stalkers running directly into the Lurkers. Nice zoning out, so these Ultras can come in over here and clear up these cannons. The Blink comes in to try to help out. He's able to shoot some of the Immortals on the other side of the map, but most of these Ultras are out of range. The Void Ray helping out up at the top, and he's going to have to retreat.
Oh, that Void Ray paying for itself very well there. And the Stalkers standing their ground very nicely. The Lurkers are really great here to push back Neeb. But, oh, the Immortals on the south side being isolated. They're going to try and fight. Oh, the Ultralisks are going to catch these ones out. But nice focus fire from Neeb, though. He's going to take out a few Ultralisks for his trouble. And, oh my god, backing into the corner. Every single Ultralisk is going down right now. Neeb, very careful control. And Ace of Bly's army is just being shreked here. He just is falling further and further behind while Neeb's economy is staggering. This is his 5th base he's protecting. Oh, the Lurk is getting some really nice shots off, though. They're doing a lot of damage to all those low HP Protoss units. Neeb, with a big blunder, gets overconfident, and those Lurkers just ripped apart about half of his army.
Yeah, you really can't underestimate enough the Lurkers. Absolutely a game-changing unit. Can rip apart an entire army in just quick moments. Incredible range, just really, really difficult to deal with. He's got a large Archon composition here, and just utilizing. Oh my God, we have a bit of a Ling run by over here. 19 workers killed. So we are down to 53 workers. First time in a long time that the drone count is actually higher than the probe count here. So nice move. Economically, trying to get back into the game is Bly.
For a moment there, we saw 5 probes on the production tab, so Neeb reproducing them very quickly. But that's so powerful. I mean, we've got adrenal glands on these Zerglings, so you've got to remember they have plus 40% attack speed with that adrenal glands upgrade, and they're about to have +3 attack and +2 armor. I mean, they're not great in a big fight because they just disappear to splash damage, but they do massive damage if they get the surface area. And right now, Bly, even though he was in such a bad position before, he's working his way back in. The Lurkers are completely denying Neeb's 5th base, and he's waiting for that good fight. He's waiting for that good position. And it looks like with so many disruptors being killed in this army, Neeb's army lacks that real power that it had just a minute ago.
Yeah, and really nice harass over here with these couple of Lurkers. Just one of the many issues with trying to take this base. It's really difficult to defend. And, DT is coming in. Not able to get too much damage. Gonna get, picked up from far away. Gotta love that Warp Prism move there. Not enough to fungal, unfortunately. Only 5 energy off. He is going to chase it down, and he might just catch it. But the main army there is going to go and deal with some Lurkers in the meantime. Losing a lot of units. It's just so hard to engage those Lurkers.
Yeah, you've got to be really careful. I mean, if you take the time and have the micro, you can come in such a way that you almost completely negate their shots, even while coming in with a large army, if you're up against only 4 or 5 Lurkers at a time. But Neeb was a bit eager to get in there, and he did take some pretty big damage.
Absolutely. Gonna do a little bit of a yoink there and take out the Warp Prism. Nicely done. Stabilizing here. And I think it's worth noting right now that because Neeb has been expanding so aggressively, He's going to be the one who mines out his side of the map first here, and we're going to reach that weird point in the game where the player who expanded slower and was less greedy is actually going to come into advantage here.
With what an army he's building with that money, though, man, he has 11 High Templar in his army, all with storms, some with multiple storms. I think he's just going to storm the lurkers to death. He doesn't even plan to really engage into them. He's just going to throw storms at them constantly, and that's very scary. But Bly hitting the base in the bottom left. These lings are ravaging Neeb's economy. Neeb not having his defense set up. A single Oracle's trying to do work there, but the adrenal glands on those Zerglings is doing great. Meanwhile, the lurkers at the front are sieging the base. His main army's posturing. Oh, but the DT Warpin just barely survives, hangs on against that. And this massive Archon Immortal High Templar army now having the Mothership Core in here. Neeb has had enough. He wants to take the fight. He wants to get Bly off this 5th base. And he's going to come in. The triple disruptor shot killing many lurkers. But he's just going to take his time so far. Neeb, he's such a patient player. He doesn't want to rush into this. He knows this game has all been about building up this army. And he wants to make sure he uses it very well.
Moving up the lurkers now over into the top section. He's going to be able to probably just snipe this base down if he focuses it. He's not going to. He's going to be pulled back. He actually burrowed within range of the photon cannons. Unfortunately, photon cannons can detect further than they can shoot, so a lot of those were revealed, and he will be forced to retreat here as the army comes through. But worth mentioning, he recently killed 19 workers again in the bottom section with those adrenal gland lings. Going to be moving in now to the whatever is left of the gold base. Couple of disruptor shots over here. Gonna get some pretty nice hits. Man, that does a lot of damage. The Ultralisk not even that frightening against the power of the disruptor. And he is gonna move in here. Nice blinding clouds on top of everything against these melee units. Really difficult to deal with. This base looks like it's gonna be taken out. And in the meantime, Neeb takes this moment to clear up those lurkers that were harassing his blue base up at the top.
Some more lings on the reinforced, getting trapped by the status sword, but a huge fight going on in the middle right now. So many Templar getting trapped up front, but the Immortals dishing out the firepower, crashing through those Immortals. And this is through those Ultralisks, sorry. This is a big Protoss army. Neeb's still got this force here, but after having his economy harassed so much, I think it may be time that he has to start pushing in. He's got to actually go soon, though. There's only, there are 4 Vipers out. They do have a lot of energy, but I'm not sure if Bly has them hotkeyed right now, and Bly's army is looking very small here.
Nicely set up there with the Archons. Going to be able to take us out really quickly here. And you have the Stasis in combination with it as well. So finally, you know, dealing properly with these attacks. Oh, except for those two. They're going to run in and just kill as many as they can. Those lings are absolutely... I can't believe he's getting all these kills. You know, Neeb obviously focusing on the main engagement here, setting up. He has a chance.
Neeb's going to push in. There's a lot of Hydralisks here, but there's still a lot of Storm in this army. And he feedbacks the Viper, throwing down a lot of Storms. But those Vipers, those Hydras, most of them were out of range of the Storm. So Neeb, once again, pulling back. Even though he's so far ahead in supply right now, he's just very afraid. He doesn't want to push into that awkward choke point. There's the Spore Crawlers there, which, of course, did they snipe off his Observer? No, they didn't, but he saw the Spore Crawlers. He knew his Observer couldn't really dive in for detection, and walking into Lurkers when you don't have detection, never a good idea. So he's going to rotate to the north side now. He's going to come around up here. Bly is completely relying upon Hydralisks and Lurkers, but that is a huge Protoss ball, and the Storms are massive right on top of those Lurkers. Storms down the last Viper there. A few more Vipers are on the way. There's Queens, there's Ultralisks in the way. Bly desperately trying to hang on for time.
And Neeb moving into Tempests behind this from here. Going to be his late game unit of choice to really help him deal with these units from far off. Nice Storms, but a lot of the times he's moving in and making these Storms, he's sacrificing a high Templar for a Lurker.
That is crazy right now how this game is going. I mean, we are seeing, if you think about this from the Zerg perspective, what can Bly do to break out of this pattern where he's taking good little engagements, good harassments, but he can never really fully face the army? And I almost felt like Broodlords were the answer, but we can see that Neeb is already a step ahead. He's already adding Tempest to his army, and this is just so Neeb. He wants to add this big ranged force. He wants to be able to kind of zone out the Zerg and say, you have to attack into me, buddy. I can pick away at you, I can use positioning, and that's what Neeb is all about. He wants to get behind the terrain. He wants to abuse the choke points, and that's going to make it really difficult for Bly.
Yeah, and this last base that Bly is taking here is really, really difficult to deal with from exactly that. The Tempest can shoot from quite far away, from behind the mineral line, and even move back over on this high ground. Going to be a big force moving out of there. Does get tagged, so Neeb is very well aware of exactly all the movements of his opponent, and it's also going to aid in his Tempests to be able to clean things up as they come. 2 Tempests at a time coming out, matching the 2 Ultralisks from Bly. And I gotta say that I would rather be the player with the Tempest at this point in time.
Oh yeah, I mean, can we take a moment to just appreciate how careful Neeb has been at just constantly keeping those oracles alive and putting status assist traps everywhere? And there's always these moments where it looks like Bly's about to run away with a counterattack or some tempo. Well, like right now on the north-hand side of the map, the Ling's coming in once again, finding a base with no stasis trap, only a few cannons, already 6 probes go down, and this Nexus is about to disappear in the blink of an eye.
The adrenaline Lings are absolutely nuts. I remember them from Brood War, and they're back to their old wonderful strength of frighteningness. Absolutely brutal.
Big pick up there, but Bly's going to lose a mining base here as well. Look at this positioning. This is like a Zerg nightmare right now. Stasis traps everywhere. We've got 3 oracles in the air with that mothership. We've got Tempest sieging down the base. The Vipers, oh, they're going to grab some abducts, taking some high-value targets, pulling them right into those Ultralisks Hydras. That's a very nice trade there for Bly, picking away where he can. He knows he can't save the base, but if he can kill some Protoss at the same time, this will be potentially okay for him. Bly, though, struggling to find the big engagement. He just needs to keep picking off these units a few at a time. With just an Ultralisk, Hydra, Viper, Infestor army, it's all about his spells. Bly here, he needs to use the Fungal Blinding Cloud combo. He needs to use the Abducts just perfectly. Meanwhile, Neeb just doesn't want to die in one sudden engagement. He wants to spread things out, slow them out, play very defensively. He never wants to clump his army up, and that's why he's spreading everything out so that he's not vulnerable to that spell.
Yeah, both players at this time have been playing this super scrappy game. They're both down to basically what is 2 base economy as far as workers are concerned now. And we're at the point where adding more workers actually probably isn't going to make much sense because the bases mine out so quickly in Legacy of the Void. A Dark Templar's up top to make sure the expansion for Bly doesn't come down there. And we're just running out of minerals on the map to mine. So cost efficiency and patience are going to pay off in a major way. Nice yanks over here. Does manage to take out one of the Tempests. The other one does escape. But these Tempests are just really, really great at this late game, staying cost efficient, getting little guaranteed damage here and there. And if he can just keep this up, he's just going to, basically spoon Terran his way into victory here.
Thorzane 2.0, but as a Protoss player, we've got that. Oh, Bly though coming in with a big link counter. But look at this defense. Oh man, Neeb has learnt his lesson. He has an Archon Zealot DT cannon wall at his base on the top side of the map. Like, that is actually insane. He's making more stasis traps everywhere, and he's taking this base on the bottom side. He's saying, if I can just defend the top from counterattacks and then take the bottom and really cement my army there, that's going to be fantastic. But interestingly enough, he's pulling back around to the north side of the map. Looks like he might
army
want
is
to
moving
rotate
north right now.
Absolutely. Leave his
this is pretty
south
intense
side
here.
very exposed.
Very much so. I think, maybe he moves up here to the north and he pulls the Zerg army north as well to defend, and that allows him to secure this bottom base. At this point in time, the players' banks are pretty reasonable with a couple thousand minerals each, so it's not a huge loss to be, losing that expansion, but they're running out of economy. And oh, I love this stasis ward right in the expansion, so it's going to slow down any expansion attempts that might come up if he doesn't clear it out. He's just going to try to sneakily send the drone. It's like, nope, sorry. And cannons. Brojack would be pleased. A lot of static D. He's feeling pretty good about that. But, oh, are they going to get up in time? And Neeb is out of position here. I think this map. Oh, the mega cancel! Never has that much minerals be canceled at one point in the tournament game. And now we've had it. You saw it here first on Fight Night. And the mega cancel is real from Neeb. Just going to be very, very careful here. And he's got his Tempest army with everything else to keep it safe in the meantime. A little bit of moving out into that position there. Making the move.
Feedbacks. Wow. There's no Vipers left alive right now. This is actually really massive. And, I mean, there's so much damage going onto the Zerg army. Zerg can't hold this position. He just can't contest this right now. He's losing so much stuff without Blinding Cloud, without Abduct. These Corruptors dying a few at a time. I mean, Bly's losing his patience. He realizes, like, what can I do against this army?
A couple of Corruptors coming in from the top. Bad rallies. This is not looking good. His Corruptor count is only at 5. When the Corruptor to When they have more Tempest than you have Corruptors, you know you're in big trouble. And 11 Archons on the ground, so difficult to deal with. And he's just still being so patient, backing up into these stasis traps right here. The Lurkers charging forward, trying to get a nice position here, but run directly into the stasis traps. Oh, man. Oh, my God. And the Ultralisk is even gets killed because the stasis traps are acting basically as a force fields, late-game force fields for the Protoss here, blocking in those Ultralisks.
This is so good for Neeb right now, dismantling this army. He forced the fight he forced Bly to attack into the position here. Bly went into it and it was a trap and his entire army is devastated and he is forced to call the GG.
Triple G even, so great good game. Golly G game, whatever you want to interpret it as.
I like Golly G game, man. I think that's a good one. I think
Golly G game, man.
That's definitely something Bly would say. Golly G game. That's
Golly
my
G game, guys. Wow.
Atrocious Bly impersonation. Man, that was a pretty sick game one. I'm so happy we've swapped here to Legacy. Of course, while we are between games, do want to say a quick shout out to the sponsors. And by the way, guys, if you want to actually contribute yourselves to the match pool, you can do it without actually having to pay any money. If you go to Matcherino, there is a really cool crowdfunding website there, where basically there is a free promo code which will be posted in the chat, and we'll make sure that's there. Yep. So there's some promo codes which you'll find in chat where you can go on there and actually do that. Also, a massive thanks to Azubu, of course. I believe this is the first event over on Azubu, or one of the first, one of the early ones. Azubu, the new sponsor for Fight Night, allowing this to happen. We are going to have Dongrigu and Bravo going up as the final match for today. Of course, we've also got Semper and Patience going up next. So we've got a bunch of awesome matches going on. So do support those sponsors, and of course, not least at all is Spawning Tool. So you guys can hop on there. It's a really great way to check out replays, builds, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, especially in the world of Legacy of the Void, where everything is crazy and builds are everywhere. That's one of the best places to get just really well organized, really well tagged builds. You can know what the meta is. You can know what the strongest builds, the most popular builds are at the moment. And that can be incredibly, incredibly valuable in a position where the builds are going to be changing so much.
Oh yeah. So, oops, I think I was holding up the lobby there, forgetting to join that game. But the next one's going to be...
What were you doing? Doing your job and announcing the sponsors and stuff instead of joining the... Ugh, pig. I am disappointed.
I'm sorry, Jack. I'm sorry.
You're supposed to be a good multitasker. You're a StarCrafter, so...
People always say that, It's so funny because I think I'm probably one of the worst multitaskers in the world. It's like if I have more than one thing to focus on at a time, I'm like, oh, somehow StarCraft's the exception to that rule, but I guess that's just through kind of embracing it all as one sort of set of actions.
Mm. Well, when you play as much as you do, that is how actual multitasking happens with the task automation. We've got coming up, though, one of the crazy maps, Ruins of SERAS. Gigantic 4-player map. I think the biggest map in all of mapdom it is.
It's going to be an awesome match here. And our representative, sorry, down here in the bottom right-hand side, we do have the awesome Zerg player representing Team Acer. It is Bly. Hashtag on fire.
And we have spawning very nearby by the air on the top right-hand corner of the screen, the blue Protoss. It's the barcode Neeb.
Contributing to an anonymous ladder. What an evil human.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Of course, this will be a great match. There won't be any Liberators. I mean, Liberators have been nerfed anyway, so even if there was a Terran in this game, we wouldn't have to necessarily see just a few Liberators fly over and deny the entirety of the mining. But it is still close air spawn, so air harassment could definitely be a big thing here. But this is also a map which we like to see something pretty often, and it involves a giant worm popping out of the ground and spewing out units, and that's definitely something that's in Bly's playbook. There's so much space base in the main base here on Ruins of SERAS, and I think that's definitely something Bly is going to be kind of considering throughout the game. Throw out some Nidus aggression, and that's something that Protoss players have to be very afraid of.
Absolutely, with the new Nidus being invulnerable until it launches, you can load in those queens first, transfuse as they come out, and make some really, really strong attacks.
There was actually a recent change to the Nidus Worm, right? Did they actually end up patching that through? Could you update us on that? Because I actually didn't catch that one. I forgot what it was.
Yeah, so this is kind of a sneaky change. It's a change that that I've been hoping for a very, very long time. So I'm really happy that it finally did go through. There was a bug that when you added to a control group, added units to a control group, if some of those units, not the units that you were adding, but some of the units that were already in the control group were in either a drop or a Nidus Worm, they would then be removed from the control group, which is something that's supposed to happen when you use the create control group function, not the add control group function. So what that meant for Nidus players for the past 5 years is that you could not egg hotkey while Nidusing. You had to wait till they popped out of the Nidus, then you could put them in the control group. It also sort of weakens the idea of using the Nidus as a forward, sort of rally point, because you lose the whole mechanical egg hotkeying deal. Now, you can do that. Now it's fine, and it's nice and clean and clear and beautiful. Some people not too happy about it because it does mess with the mechanical way that drops work. It's not that they're less efficient now, it's just that all the people who are used to dropping in a certain way now have to relearn the way they use their control groups. But it shouldn't be a problem, especially with the steal function in the control groups now.
Oh, wow. Focusing back on the game for a second, Bly with the perfect surround on the ramp, and Neeb making the classic mistake of letting his shade run out just at halfway on the ramp. And those Zerglings getting a really nice surround. Good start.
Well done to Bly, especially after that first game. Really looking to make something happen here. Like you said, Nidus aggression, very much a possible thing. I'm sure that Neeb would have been a little bit... It's kind of weird because he's the Protoss, right? But I'm sure that he would have been a lot more happy getting across spawns on this map. Bly, with a relatively short rush distance, maybe looking to get some aggression in the near future.
Interestingly, on Neeb's side of the map, he is actually going towards 4 gateways, and he's pulling out that warp prism incredibly fast. So it looks like we're going to see some 4-gate adept pressure. Now, Bly, if we look at his overlord at the back of Neeb's natural, he actually sees that the gas just went down, and that is a pretty late gas. So this might already be telling Bly something's up, but Bly probably doesn't even care because he's already building roaches and an incredibly fast Nidus Worm. It's already halfway done. So, I mean, Neeb's actually stopping to try and kill this scouting overlord here. He's going to warp in a bunch of stalkers to pressure first off, but he doesn't seem to realize just how important it is to get across the map right now, because there's another overlord just to the left. It's a spotting overlord. It's coming into his main base, and the Nidus Worm's about to finish. Oh, no.
Oh, man. The fact that he doesn't have vision in his entire map right now is, it's going to kill him. It's gonna at least very close to kill him. If not, the fact that he's across the map with the warp prism might help a little bit, might try to keep his units back, but you really don't want him to get into a base race scenario with someone that has a Nidus up. And there it is, the scream of the Nidus, the most terrifying sound of all sounds in StarCraft. Only 4, oh my god, he's just going to GG. Ooh, can taste the salt on that one.
Mothership Core wasn't even out yet.
Wow.
Wow. So that's the old, the famed pre-5-minute Nidus that we've heard. We've been hearing tales of woe, tales of Protoss crying into their hands at night, as well as Terran players when a Zerg does this and manages to get it up. And that was really nice overlord positioning by Bly. You could see he was kind of prepared. He's like, I've got this overlord, and then this one comes in if they get that one. He's got his backup plans ready. His Lings at the front of the base if he wants to pop the Nidus there. Very well played by him.
Yep. And it's just... And I haven't been able to see too much of the Nidus games. Neuro sends me a few games every now and then because he's a big fan of the Nidus. But just having vision in your base is this really basic but very critical thing, especially now in these matchups. That it's something that I think all Protoss players are going to have, and Terran players as well, just going to have to adjust to, you have to get used to it. You're going to have the pylons in the right position. You're going to need to know what's coming. You have to be able to get in position in time.
Hells yeah. And you got to be well prepared for these. These attacks hit hard and fast. And yeah, that's a nice confidence booster for Bly. I think he's the guy who is always got to find his ways to grab these wins like this, nice and quick and precise. And that's got to put fear in Neeb. Neeb's the kind of player you want to put fear into, because if you let him kind of get to the point in the game where he wants to get to, then he's just going to run away with it really quickly. Neeb is just, he likes to be greedy. He likes to push those edges. He's a player you want to disrupt. You want to throw him off his game plan a bit. And just by getting this win here now, equalizing the series 1-1, Bly's already started to achieve that. So going to the next maps, it does open up the opportunities for Bly to play more defensive games, kind of like that game 1, without the fear of Neeb just rushing up to 4 bases, 5 bases, rushing up to double robotics so damn fast.
Absolutely. Neeb tending towards the greedy side and putting the fear of the Nidus into his soul is always a good play, always going to make you feel nice and warm and cozy in the world of the Zerg, oddly enough. But we're going to have to see, is that how strong is the mentality of Neeb here? Is that really going to affect him in a major way? Or is he going to say, oh no, he won't do it again. No way. I will continue my greedy style. We will have to see. The next map is Moonlight Madness, one of the other really unique, fun, strange maps that are coming in. One of the cool things I really, really like about Legacy of the Void is that they're trying to open up the map diversity in a major way, really push players into trying to find builds and styles and strategies that work better on certain maps than other maps, which hasn't been a particularly strong thing in the past. There's always been those crazy maps that get removed halfway through the season, but for the most part we have a lot of really standard usual maps, like okay, it's the natural, it's the third, but map like Moonlight Madness, not the case.
Yeah, Moonlight Madness is a crazy one. It's a scary one. There's so many things on here which people can abuse and abuse. They can use them. They can make use of all those features. Going to this map, it's going to be definitely a Bly playground is what I would think if you can get there. So we are diving here now into game 1 Moonlight Madness and spawning up here in the top right-hand side. We have our Protoss representative dropping that last game but taking a very convincing game 1. It is Neeb.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, he made the Nidus work once. Will he do it again? It's Acer's Bly.
Bly on fire. And of course, while we just got a bit of downtime at the start of this game, do want to say, by the way, guys, there's actually a bunch of $10 Battle.net gift cards being given away, which is pretty awesome. Obviously, you can use those to buy games, buy your Hearthstone money, buy a couple packs of cards, buy whatever you want, buy yourself a pretty pony for your Heroes of the Storm character to ride on, whichever games you are spending your money on these days. But all you need to do is follow at Team Gravity and at Azubu TV on the Twitters, and tweet your azubu.tv username. So this is actually one of those prizes where a lot of people often are too lazy to enter these competitions. They're like, nah. So usually that means it's some pretty easy $10 gift cards to pick up. You guys should definitely go sign up for it. Make an Azubu TV account so you can chat if you haven't already, and get in on the action.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost like going 6 pool on a 4-player map. It's like, everyone's like, oh yeah, everyone's going to go for the hatch first. Everyone's going to go for the greed play on the giant 4-player map. There's no way that I should go 6 pool. And then you do and it works out and it's like fantastic. It's very counterintuitive in the same way where you should just do it. You should just go for it, because there's going to be a whole bunch of people who are like, nah, everybody else is going to go for it, so I won't. There's no way I'll win.
Just do it. Just do it.
Shia LaBeouf proofs.
He does. He always does. And interestingly, Bly here, he's taking that fast third base. Once again, he loves this build order to go for that. Like you said, hatch, pool, hatch. And he's going for a nice, relatively early gas here, going to be able to get a faster Zergling speed, or potentially, once again, a very fast lair. And this is, once again, another map where there's a lot of space for Nidus Worms and that sort of stuff. So there actually is the possibility of going for the same sort of cheesy play a second time in a row. Meanwhile, though, we are going to see Neeb coming in with this Adept and being a little bit more fearful this time around. After the last game, losing that Adept, getting it surrounded by the Zerglings, he's going to be a lot more careful with it. Coming into the main, sees the Zerglings, does cancel it, and with 8 Zerglings out, that's got to be the right call. Bly's 8 Zerglings will make quick work of that Adept. Looks like Neeb, though, just the threat of the Shade is enough. He's going to keep on putting that pressure on. He has started his lair in the back base, and Neeb coming in. He wants to scout it. He needs to move forward with that Adept, and he sees the lair, but these Zerglings look like they might be able to surround. The Adept going to micro quite well so far, but it's taking a lot of damage.
Oh, it's so close. It does fall. Very unfortunate for Neeb, but he does get the scout off, does see that super quick lair, so hopefully he is getting all the vision possible around his map in case that lair means some more Nidus shenanigans. He's getting double Stargate right now.
I guess his plan is Void Rays to deal with this. Just get so many units out that there's no way a Nidus Worm can drop, because that's what's in his mind right now. Or Phoenix work just as well. Neeb is worried about a Nidus Worm going down. It happened last game. He's seen the really fast lair. Even though there's no Nidus actually going down for Bly, that is clearly what he could be worried about. And if you can open up Phoenix, I mean, that gives you a great transition into carriers. Even with the build time nerf and the recent HP nerf, I definitely think that's an option that Neeb might enjoy. And we do see the Nidus Worm drop down now. But with the Phoenix out, how will he be able to spot for that Nidus Worm? With the back rocks down as well, it's going to be very tricky for Bly to find an entrance.
Alright, it's all about this second Overlord over here. This is his last bit of vision in the base to make the big move. The Phoenix are starting to look around, and it looks like they're going to bump directly into it. Oh, yeah. Oh, and they see it. They're going to clear it up before the Nidus is ever even able to plant at all. And all the Nidus options for our Zerg player are now gone, unless he wants to Nidus right in the front of his opponent's base.
I mean, that's something to consider, right? Because there's just, like, no damage for Neeb here. Like, he's like, yeah, I've got like 2 Zealots, a Stalker, and a Sentry. Like, there's only 2 Pylons at the front. I mean, if a Nidus does pop here and there's Queens and Roaches spilling out, I mean, okay, he's adding more Pylons at the front wall, knowing...
as well.
Yeah, he needs those potential cannons there. And, the Overseer... Okay, the Nidus Worm drops in the main base. The Phoenix are on the other side of the map. Neeb pulling the Phoenix home. Oh, he knows he needs to defend this right now. He's warping in as many Stalkers as he can. He needs to pull probes. He needs to pull Pylons. Like, he's got to do some craziness here to hang on. He's going to have to try and lift these Queens as they pop out.
Alright, the transfuse going down. The Queens are getting lifted up. The Nidus goes down, and it looks like he's going to be alright. The Photon Pylon overcharge is coming down, and we've got just this, not necessarily going to kill the Queens, but just keeping them up in the air so they can't do what they need to do. They can't drop those transfuses. He's going to clean it up. Excellently done by Neeb there. Great defense.
Oh, shutting that down super hard. And this Phoenix, look at this, they don't even care about the second wave of Nidus right now. He's just walking across the map. Does come home there, realizing, like, oh, wait a second. I was like, oh, that's a bit ballsy, man. Like, you've just held off an all-in attack. Like, you don't need to go flying across the map. But he's going to go across and put that counter pressure on now. And, of course, Bly is so far away from tech. He is so far away from upgrades. He is so far away from mobile anti-air.
Oh, Queen's out of position here.
Oh, that's such a big pickup. And, I mean, they can even ignore the Spore Crawlers. This is so many Phoenix. They can just obliterate everything. They can just fly over the Spores, kill the Overlords, kill the drones. And I don't know how Bly can catch up. Not being able to get the damage done with that Nidus Worm, this is catastrophic damage.
Yep, not only, well, he was just behind before the counterattack even happened. Now it's just like, salting the wound at this point in time. He's just running in, killing all these Overlords. He's doing as many lifts as he wants. He's just running through, like you said, completely ignoring the Spore Crawler. It doesn't matter to him at all. He doesn't need to worry about it. He's going to kill another Queen. He's going to run around here and do whatever he wants. Just 94 supply to 64. And 64 out of 26 for a second. I don't think I've ever even seen supply that unbalanced in my life.
Oh man, this is such a hard position as the Zerg player. There really is no right response from this situation. Bly is going to try and stay in the game. He's going to try and maybe make a follow-up surprise tactic work. But from here, his only chance in this game is massive gambles. With such a smaller economy, being so far behind on tech and continuing to take damage here. Yet another Queen, more and more drones going down on this base. Oh my god, a total of 9 workers killed, a whole lot of queens, and a heck of a lot of overlords. Neeb's dictating the pace of the game right now, and behind this we are seeing the Robotics Bay go down, the Forge, the Twilight Council. Looks like he wants to go up to that Stalker Disruptor composition that he favors so much. He's already got a few Immortals out, and in the meantime, he knows there's no 4th base. He knows there's not much tech on the way. And I mean, what possibly could Bly have? It looks like he's just going Hive. It looks like he wants to get some Vipers out, try to use Parasitic Bomb on these Phoenixes as a desperation move, and then somehow make a comeback from there happen. But I mean, where's he even going to get the gas for the Vipers? He's got no upgrades on the way. Like, what's the follow-up? And there's a ground army that's actually pushing across the map right now.
Yep, it's a significant ground army. It's not anything that looks like it's game ending, but the fact that Bly has so little to defend, it's just absolutely frightening. These Ravagers are finishing up, and if he can get some good shots off, he can be in a pretty decent position, but blows his whole load in one shot there. Never the best move. You got to watch out for that. And he's just going to very quickly dodge it back out. Not really too much of a problem there. And these Phoenix are... Catching them with the Ravagers is going to be quite difficult. I mean, catching a slow unit with Ravagers is quite difficult, but it seems to be they're not paying attention. He's actually going to get a couple hits off and gets 2 Phoenix for his trouble. Excellently done. Realizes that those Phoenix were not being paid attention to for that moment.
Very nice pickup, but these Phoenix still kind of raining down death. Extra queens are on the way to try and beef up these Ravagers, add some anti-air, add some production here. No Vipers building just yet. There we go. First 2 Vipers are on the production tab, a 3rd one adds on there. Oh man, but here comes more Stalkers. Neeb not letting up the pressure. Not only is he taking a 4th base in very Neeb fashion, rather than just killing him, he's just going to kind of slowly push across the map. And I think this is just very, I guess, emblematic of Neeb. It's how he likes to play. He doesn't want to rush in there. He wants to play the careful game. He wants to be sure that he will win a game which he's ahead in. Bly, on the other hand, right now, I mean, he probably knows he's mostly out of this game. He's just staying in it, see if he can make something happen. And he's probably, oh! Ooh, that Disruptor shot at the front, taking out a Ravager. Very nice. But look at this. I mean, Neeb, Bly right now has to stay strong mentally, because Neeb's trying to kind of almost batter down his, like, his consciousness, right? His focus, his ego right now. And Bly's got to kind of stay strong through this, because he can't let himself get tilted by this game. Whereas I think Neeb is just going to take so long to close this out, and that could have a really devastating effect on Bly's mentality if he doesn't watch out.
Absolutely, and it's sort of one of these side effects of having such careful play is that it can be very, very frustrating for the other player just playing from behind for, 10 minutes where you're pretty sure you're dead and just fighting that out. Can just be this incredibly frustrating experience. He's going to be moving in now with the entirety of his ground army, with the Phoenixes coming in on the other side. Nice positional play here. He's going to be moving forward, trying to get some damage in. The Disruptor's coming out, and it will fizzle out. He's going to grab that Disruptor and try and focus it down. Nice blinding clouds there. Really nice engagement from Bly, but unfortunately that Disruptor hit is going to come in, clear off some of those lings, and he just does not have a whole lot of army, despite the fact that he's making some nice moves here. Still very difficult. He's going to... Oh, and that Disruptor shot takes down half of the army. In one shot, half of the army of Bly is dead. Oh my god, Blinks on top, and that's it. GG. Victory for Neeb.
Oh, GG.
Man.
I sometimes like to think when I'm watching Neeb, like he like actually doesn't realize how far ahead he is, because he's like, he gets really ahead and he's like, that means I can take a 5th base, and then he's kind of I should do a bit of half-hearted pressure, and there's like this moment where he's like, oh, I just killed your entire army. Oh, I guess I win now. Like, it's like, it finally clicks, like, let's push in and finish him off. I mean, obviously, Neeb's a fantastic player. He knows he's ahead, but he's just so careful about it. I love it. He finally pushes in, just kills half the army in a blink of an eye, and the game is just over. But and that's just so Neeb.
It's like one of those players, I don't know if you played chess at all, but like when growing up, before you really knew how to play chess properly, it's just one of those players who would like have checkmate on you, but instead would just go through and systematically remove all of your pieces from the board, and only then would attempt the checkmate. I feel very sort of analogous to Neeb's style of play. Definitely listen to a lot of Artosis. When you're ahead, get more ahead.
Oh man, those are the worst people to play against in chess. They're like, no, I need to to get all of my pawns to the other end of the board first. I need to make all of the queens. It's like, seriously, come on. But Neeb showing he's got a really high class of play there. As we've said before, he's done really well against some of the top Korean players who have been playing a lot of the beta. And he's continuing to show his class there. I really think that game comes back to the Adept Scout early on. We saw that Bly, he went for the 3 bases, but he was teching really fast, and he built 8 Zerglings because he was adamant about trying to stop that Shade Scout. But Neeb cancelled the first Scout, but then he stayed out front of the base. He didn't run away from the 8 Zerglings and just start hiding, and immediately threw the second Shade through, committed, ran down to the 3rd base because he knew he needed to check for this option. So Neeb getting that Scout off was so huge, and Bly's got to be, I guess, kicking himself a little bit, thinking, oh, maybe I should have left half of my Zerglings further back to kind of stop it running past. As Bly, he's got to be annoyed because that's clearly the build which he thinks is really powerful right now. He's tried to do it 2 games in a row. There's slight variations thereof, but it's the same sort of build. So I think he's kind of like really a little bit annoyed. And who knows, he might even try the same build again if he can feel that he can pull it off in a sneaky manner once more.
Absolutely. And it's that kind of a thing where the Adept versus, I really like the Adept versus Zergling unit interaction in general, just because there are so many of these tiny decisions that are happening all the time. And, Neeb just being super patient, as is always, just sending out, waiting and being like, okay, now I can transport and I'll be able to scout all 3 hatches to know if there is a lair on the way. But speaking of on the way, our next match is on the way. LERILAK CREST. How do you say that? LERILAK?
I say it exactly the way you said it the first time. LERILAK CREST. And LERILAK CREST. LERILAK CREST. It's something I kind of like to repeat sometimes because it does have that weird sound to it. But I mean, diving in here, it's the important match. It is a best of 5 we're playing. So Neeb's only 1 game away from closing out the series, and Bly is fighting for his life.
All right, we are loading into the game now. And starting off, we have our player spawning in the top right-hand corner of the screen in the best color that exists, teal. It's Neeb.
Neeb. It's looking good. And of course, spawning down here in the bottom right-hand side of LERILAK CREST, it is our Zerg representative. It is Team Ace's Bly.
Do you happen to know the story behind the Neeb ID? Just like, what is that? What Neeb? What? I mean, it's almost like a.
I think
gorilla.
I've heard it before, but I can't actually remember it. Neeb. I still actually get nightmares when I see Neeb's name because for me, I'll ever associate him with like him and Drunken Boy back when they were in the FXO days and they were both Terran players. About a year and a half ago or so. Or 2 years ago, and some of the cheeses that Neeb would pull out were like, oh my god, like, he'd do like the gas first Hellions in Zerg vs Terran, and he'd rush you with 4 Hellions and all of his SCVs and a few Marines and like just kill you, and really weird stuff. And I think it's cool to see he's kind of evolved as a Protoss player, and I mean, he could macro a lot as a Terran, but as a Protoss player, he's like a macro beast. Like that is his entire focus in the game.
Yeah, it's interesting, that evolution of the player coming across here. Really, cutting all the corners that he can. He goes up to scout. He scouts just enough to see if there would be creep there, and then moves on. All of these tiny little decisions and tiny little things contributing to the small edges that happen in a game of StarCraft.
And we are going to be seeing the Gate Gas Core into Nexus this time around, out of Neeb, not going for the Nexus first. Meanwhile, Bly sticking with what has worked for him so far, but not opting for the fast gas so far. Just going for that fast 3rd base, adding his queens now, getting out a bunch of Zerglings. Always loves to make sure he has enough Zerglings to shut down any probes, shut down the Adepts. And the probe's going to come in, and it will see no gas mining, so that is important for Neeb. Neeb already can rule out any incredibly fast Nidus play, and that's really great for him. We were talking about how important it is for him to scout for these really aggressive plays, make sure he knows whether or not they're coming. So now Neeb can relax a little bit more here and start to think about his game plan.
Looks like he's up to only 4 lings against this one adept. The adept should be able to get a pretty decent scout off and see what's going on. Will he transport? And no.
Cancels it just the last moment there.
Love that. Love that play. Just being really careful.
And the Stargate going down once again here for Neeb. So Neeb looking like I think he's going to be going for that Oracle opening once more. And just very close spawns. You know, this is kind of awkward positions on this map because if you get cross map, it's such a big map. So people often look at LERILAK and they think this is a big 4-player map. It's a long way to get to your opponent, but I mean, Neeb has to think about where does he take his third base. Does he take it on the left-hand side where it's wide open, or does he take it closer, but with the choke point to defend? Either way, there's going to be a very close push distance here, and Neeb continuing to pressure here, continuing to scout around this third, checking to see. He sees not a lot of drones there, and he's wanting to scout. He wants to see, like, is there tech going down? Because he knows this is
he makes the move.
Oh, that's going to be great.
He's in there. Oh, wait, no, he's just chilling. I don't think he can even be seen right now. That's hilarious.
Oh, I think he realizes that he can't be seen, so he waits for his shade to cool down, knowing that way he'll be able to hit 2 places at once. And he comes in here, picks off. Oh, he decides not to teleport to the shade, and he's actually going to focus down a bunch of drones. The drones being forced to fight against an adept, almost never a good idea. And 3 drones go down, and very nice harassment out of Neeb. He also sees that the gases had just started mining here, so he's already knowing, like, hey, your tech's really slow this game. You're actually focusing on economy, and he's going up into a very fast robotics. Ooh, very interesting.
The tables may be turning here. We don't have a third base from Neeb just yet. And
that Oracle came in. Ooh, getting even more kills at the third base. I thought the Oracle was being pretty well deflected, but now getting even more on the third. This is a huge pickup. That Adept really distracted Bly early on, and that opened up the chance. Now, with a total of 12 workers killed between the Adept and the Oracle, and a second Oracle joining the fray, once again, we see Neeb where he's at his strongest. He is ahead in workers right now. He is super comfortable, and he's even been quite greedy. He's delayed his Mothership Core. It's only just coming out now. So that Adept Scout early on, allowing Neeb to cut so many corners. He's going for his third base, adding on his Colossus base, starting up his Stasis Ward production. This is just the position where Neeb wants to be. He wants to set this up so he's got so many layers of defense. He's got the Oracles to kill the light units. He's got the Stasis Wards to slow everything down. He's got the rocks going down at the third base, so he only has to really defend one choke point. This is all looking very good for Neeb's game plan.
Absolutely. Scouts the Overlord congregation in the middle here. Overlord's deciding what's going to happen next. So, well, I will provide from supply to this regent, and you will provide the supply to the 2 queens in the front. Okay, sounds good. Thank you very much. And we do have this. I love this 2 Oracle play. Just zipping around, and you know, very Zest-like, running around with the 2 Oracles, getting as much damage done as possible. It's gonna be able to run in here.
I think he's underneath Bly's skin right now because we see, yeah, Bly was saving up so much money just there, and his lair was really late, and I was thinking, like, what is he doing? We see 14 roaches in the production tab and a huge gas bank. What we're going to see now is a 3-base Ravager Zergling timing, I'm pretty sure. We do see a double Evo and some more gases going down, but with the amount of drones he's cut, I mean, sitting on 50 drones for so long, Bly is so far behind in economy, he needs to get damage done. I think we're going to see a lot of Ravagers morph, and he's just going to run across there and start trying to use that call down corrosive bile ability, and he's going to try and spam that all over Neeb's face to get something done.
All right, running in here, going to be able to pick off at least 1 queen here. A little bit indecisive, but might get the second one as well.
Oh,
and
man.
He'll get it, pulling back. Oh, just barely staying alive against this Spore Crawler, getting a little bit close there. And like you said, huge gas bank for Bly, so very little that he could possibly even spend that gas on. But Ravagers at this point, even cranking out 12 more roaches. This is the push, and preparing for it with Disruptors is Neeb.
I'm kind of confused right now by Bly's game plan. He's just massing roaches and more roaches and more roaches, and finally, there we go. The Ravager morph is starting to happen. And he's adding drones behind this, but this has been so delayed right now. Bly is playing on such a low economy here, and Neeb is running away with this game. I mean, we know that Bly thrives when he's dictating the pace, right? When he's the one putting the pressure on, but he hasn't had that opportunity right now. And now this is hitting so late. There's already multiple disruptors out. There's force fields. There's a Mothership Core. This is going to be so difficult difficult for him to make anything happen. I mean, look, Neeb feels confident to come out and actually face him on the map.
All right, we do have quite the spread, quite the supply here. He's gonna position his forces and try to get a bit of a concave. Oh, nice split there. Manages to save a lot of those forces. That could have been one of the huge... Oh, but this time, not so much. Big hits, splitting to the best of his ability, but just not fast enough. Dropping down some corrosive biles, but missing most things. Does manage to snipe one disruptor with the corrosive biles, plus a little bit of target firing from the roaches in the front. That does have to sacrifice them, but trading roaches for disruptors is a happy place for Zerg to be any day. The problem is that he's just running out of stuff here, and the supply advantage moves towards our Protoss.
Oh yeah, I mean, Neeb is so far ahead. This army is so scary. Even the Oracle's weighing in on the fight, chasing down these Ravagers. The Ravagers are trying to use Corrosive Bile to throw off the counterattack, but they can't do it. There's so many Stalkers here. The Disruptors are coming in, and this army is minuscule for Bly. He's only just hit 65 drones. He's got so few units. He's trying to make more Ravagers desperately to hang on, but this army of Protoss is just too big.
Oh, another big Disruptor hit. This is absolutely brutal to deal with. More and more Disruptors over and over again. He's getting pushed into a corner here. There's just going to be a point where the Disruptors come in, and he has nowhere to run. Even if that doesn't happen, +2, finishing up now. Blink, already done. There's really not much going on, and in the classic Neeb style, what does he do? He checks. He's like, oh, do you have a 4th base? No, you don't have a 4th base. All right, cool. I'm just going to stay alive, and, you know, I'm going to secure my own 4th base. Because, you know, Protoss always has one more base than the Zerg, right? Is that how it goes? I mean, you're a professional Zerg, right? You know that.
And Neeb's playing, definitely, man. Oh,
the hits!
Wow.
The hits are real. Oh my god, that was brutal. Absolutely nuts. One of this... Oh, and all of the kills are on one Disruptor. It's 14 kills for one Disruptor here. Absolutely nuts. That is a hero Disruptor.
So damn powerful. These Disruptors just wrecking everything. Bly is so far behind. He has been from the early game, and we've got to say, Bly looked a bit lost in this game. After the early scout came on, and Neeb saw there was no early gas, there was no chance of pressure, he felt very comfortable. Oh, wow, more Disruptor shots. Looks like Neeb wants to push in here again. And, I mean, he's really just looking to finish the game here, little bit by little bit, very carefully pressing his way in. Doesn't want to eat the Corrosive Bile, but just continuing to pick off units with these Disruptor shots, and it's almost like free damage at this point. Oh, man. And here comes... Oh, Bly manages to kill one of the Disruptors, loses a few Ravagers for it, though, and these are trades he can't afford to take. We've got +3 attack on the way, double Disruptor. I mean, Neeb's been in his comfort zone, and Bly just failed to adapt to the style he was trying to play. He was trying to play an economic style, but he just didn't build enough drones this game. Went for a big Ravager timing, but it was just so late in this game that I'm not sure how he thought that one could work. Have to be a bit critical of Bly this game.
Yeah, he was kind of, you know, trying to do a little bit too much at once. He's going to run in here with all of the lurkers. This may be enough to make something happen. Unfortunately, a lot of these shots are going to come off. Lots of damage coming down. Amazing Disruptor shots, though. When he's getting into this main engagement, he wasn't trying to avoid any of these Disruptor shots at all and loses pretty much all of his army. 13 Roaches and a Hydra on the way. Trying to get +1. He's got no upgrades, and his opponent is about to get +3. There it is. The blink on top. He says, get out of my game. I am winning this best of 5. 3, 2, 1. Fantastic play.
GG. Yeah, Neeb deserved the win there. I think he just looked so crisp, I mean, that was what we always talk about, right? You were saying he's been listening to Artosis. It's what people have been saying since the start of StarCraft 2, you know, defend, scout, react. And that's exactly the sort of style that Neeb was playing there. He was reacting perfectly. He was scouting very well, and he adapted throughout the games. Of course, he did drop one map to that very fast Nidus Worm where he thought he'd cleared out the Overlord vision. The other one came in and landed it right in his base. But besides that, he was really on top of his game. Got to commend him for his adept control. I mean, when we talk about small little things in Wings of Liberty, if we go back, one of the big things we'd notice is the first best Terran players were so good in Zerg vs Terran at microing their Hellions. They were so good in the mid-game against Protoss at controlling their bio medevac pressure. And I think what we're starting to see here is the really good Protoss players in the very beginning of PvZ. It's all about what they can do with those adepts in terms of not only forcing a bit of a reaction, but being very smart with that scouting. And we see him pausing in the main base in that final game outside of the vision of the Zerg because he realized there was no way that Bly could tell if he teleported there or not. And just these little adjustments like that allowed him to gain so many edges while having a really solid reactive game plan behind it. So I think Neeb is someone who we've really got to keep an eye on as one of the strong up-and-coming players in Legacy of the Void.
Absolutely. It's just one of those things that is great about Legacy of the Void. Just so much interaction between the players so early on. The players now, they just have so many more opportunities to differentiate themselves skill-wise from their opponents. And in little things like that, just that depth control in the beginning and just being really patient, it's so nice to see a Protoss player playing this defensive, reactive style, as that's not really the common thing for that race. But we've got one show match down, 2 to go. We're going to throw it over to a quick Azubu promo. We would like to thank Azubu for being awesome and fantastic. Azubu is funding the prize pool for this this entire tournament. So thank you very much to Azubu. And Pig, if you could let us know, how exactly do we get 10 free dollars?
You guys, all you need to do is follow at Team Gravity and at Azubu TV on the Twitters. If you don't use Twitter, you should. It's one of the easiest to use social medias out there. And all you need to do is tweet at Team Gravity and Azubu TV your azubu.tv username. So basically just the name you use to log in and chat there. And there's a bunch of $10 Battle.net Blizzard gift cards that'll be being given away. So yeah, go get yourself some new skins, get yourself some new games, get yourself Legacy if you haven't bought it yet. So go sign up for that, guys. And I think for now we're going to be going to a quick break. So don't go anywhere because our next match is going to be Semper vs Patience, a really good PvT series. So stick with us, guys, and we'll see you in just a few minutes.